All right, the recording has started and Mackenzie's going to kick us off.
Hi guys, thank you for coming. There's new faces. I don't recognize everybody, but my name is Mackenzie Blackburn and I'm the math coordinator for the district. So Katie and I teamed up to tell you guys all these awesome things about SeeSaw. And being that you're kindergarten, God love you people. There are things that the kiddos can do that you can meet their needs as far as looking at different things that you're doing in the classroom. And like Katie's going to show you, it's very intuitive, so it should be pretty easy for the kiddos to navigate with. But when you're looking at your small groups for math specifically, as well as ELA and all the other things, it's definitely going to give you the opportunity to really kind of deep dive and get some good data points on your kiddos, because I know that's something that we all sometimes struggle with. And then just kind of intertwined, yeah.
I like
The spiral review, but it's not really any prep on you to go find anything because it's already there, which is beautiful. So Katie is going to walk you through all of that. And I'm her time girl, so I will tell her when her time is almost up.
Thank goodness. Any of you who know me well know I need someone to keep me on track with time. So good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your super busy schedule to join us. Real quick before I jump into the platform, this is not your mother's SeeSaw anymore. Like, if you haven't been in SeeSaw in a while, if you used to use it but haven't been using it lately, or even if you're a regular user, there's so much out there. We could literally do an entire PL day just on SeeSaw. So please think about whatever questions come up with this. If you're comfortable asking them afterwards, that's great. If not, you can shoot us an email. That would be fantastic. But just a little plug, we don't have a date yet, but we are going to be doing another one of these styles of PL with just what's new in SeeSaw, because I really do think it can save you so much time on your end and still provide the kids with engaging and meaningful content. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and jump into the platform. If at any point you can't see it, or it looks like I'm talking about a screen that you don't see, just let me know. I have done that twice now today, so just let me know. Okay, so when we look at our MOI, we know that first column is feedback, and under feedback, we've got that formal and informal assessment. So that's kind of the path that we're going to go down today, where everything that I'm going to show you is math related. Know that SeeSaw has these same features in every other subject area. So the first thing, when you are on your home page, it looks like this. You're going to go into Explore Libraries. We're going to pick kindergarten. Oops, sorry, I lied. Don't pick kindergarten. Pick math. You know what? Let's pick Browse by Standards. Let's go there. Okay, so when you get Browse by Standards, this is where you're going to pick those things. You would think I would have that down. This is only, like the 6th one I've done today. So pick standards. You're going to go down to Missouri. Now, there are parts of SeeSaw that are aligned with our priority standards for our district. This, because these are SeeSaw activities and assessments, are aligned to Missouri's. But that's where our priority standards come from. So pick the one that's closest aligned. I don't think you'll have any problem finding what you need. Subject, here's where we're going to pick math. Pick your grade level. You do not need to pick any of this. And then everything in SeeSaw defaults to being presented in English and in Spanish. I'm going to click search. And it's going to think for a minute, and then it's going to bring up everything. So these are all your kindergarten standards. Now you can see with each standard, there are quite a few activities, assessments, games that are tied to this standard specifically. So if it's tied to the standard, we can pull the data from it. All right, so let's look at this first one. I mean, look at this one. You have 58 things that are related to that within SeeSaw. We're going to go to count.
Katie, sorry. It's not working. Sorry, Becky. Same time. We were seeing the same thing. There we go.
See, this is why I need you guys, because
totally get it.
Who knew Google Meet didn't change your tabs for you? You have to do it yourself. So thank you. That's what I needed.
I personally, Katie, don't know how you got here. Is there a way you can go back and just show it really, really quick?
Absolutely. So from that Explore Libraries screen, you're going to click the Browse by Standards. It's going to take you here. So then you're going to pick Missouri. And oh, interesting how it did that. And English. It should also ask you your grade level. I'm not sure why this one's not, but we're going to hope that it gets us to where we need to be. Yes, it did. I think it's because I had already preloaded that in there. So again, now we are in all of your standards for kindergarten. You can see over here tons of activities for each standard. I'm going to go ahead and click this one. So anything in SeeSaw that is tied to the standard will pop up here. You can see there's calendar math things. And here's where I find it so helpful. All of your assessments will be here too. So let's think if it's the end of the grading period, and we've all been there, I know I have, where you're like, whoo, I don't have enough data for that one standard. This would be a fantastic way to go in and then focus directly on that. So I'm going to click Math Assessments Counting. And it's going to give me two options. It's going to tell me that, hey, I could present this to the class or I could assign this. Now, if we go into present to class, we're going to see exactly what the kids would see. This is really powerful though, because if you're not using SeeSaw, you could do a couple of these activities and model how SeeSaw works. You could also do these as a kickoff to that day's learning where kids are coming up and it's an interactive class experience. So again, it will give the directions. And then it's going to get into, hold on, let me switch the tab again. There we go. It's going to get into the actual activity. You can see the directions are here in both English and Spanish so kids can listen to them out loud. Now here, it's going to tell us that it's looking for an audio response. So as a student, when I see this, all I have to do is click here, and then it's going to tell me. Again, I can read it. It can read to me right here. It's going to say count to 100 by ones. So the student would click this, they would count. Over here, it's going to kick it up a level. It's going to say count to 100 by tens. Now, when we can listen to student learning in their own voice, we are able to tell a slew of information and data about what they can and can't do. So in the beginning, you could use these as whole class activities. Now, let's say I do want to use it as an assessment. This is some data that I want to pull. I need data for this standard. All I'm going to do is go to Assign. Keep in mind, anything in SeeSaw can be assigned in a variety of ways, meaning you could create student groups that align with your math small groups. So maybe small group A is doing a different activity than small group B. You could also send it to just one student who maybe needs a little extra practice. I think this is also powerful. Think if a kiddo is sick. You could assign them specifically one or two activities. They could do those at home, and then they're not missing out on that learning piece. Another very powerful way would be if you have a sub. You know, we all know that that can be hit or miss sometimes. So if you assign these activities and then it's part of their day and they know how to engage with SeeSaw, that's going to be a very independent activity for your class. All right. So you're going to fill in all this information from the dropdown, but I want to show you something when you get to this piece where it says organize. Right now, it is tagged with the Missouri standards. But if I go here and I go to all standards, I can take it even one level more specific, meaning these custom standards, these now are our priority standards. Okay, so if I click kindergarten, there's a lot of subjects for right now. I'm going to leave that. Those are SeeSaw generated, and we're going to see if we can't get a few of those down a little bit. But let's do this. And then now this you would have to do on your part, but then it will pull the data in alignment with these standards. So let's say I pick two. They are not related to that activity, but I picked them. I'm going to save those tags. And now you can see where there was one data point before, now I have three. Some teachers use the folders to keep things more organized. You could also choose what folder at this point that you want that assessment to go into. You simply click Assign Now, and then it is pushed to the student. So what does that look like once the student has completed those activities? This is where we're going to have to use our imagination just a little bit, because I do not have students associated with my account. So when I went back to the home page, your classes are listed here. I'm going to click mine. And then you're going to see you have a grade book. This grade book will give you two options. You can either look at your data by an activities view, or you can look at it by a standards view. Thank you. Activities view is going to be anything that you've assigned in SeeSaw, activity or assessment. So those will be horizontally across the top. Your student names will be right here. And then it will self-grade those, and it will give you the data how each student performed. Likewise, if you click on the standards view, instead of the activities, it's going to have all the standards that were tagged here. So when it gets to be grading time, I could look in here and pull very valuable information. Or maybe a student has a specific standard that they're working on in their IEP or 504. These would be important places to go to pull that very specific information. One pro tip, just make sure you're in the current date period. I have people all the time that say, oh, nothing's showing. Like today, with it the first of the month, you probably wouldn't have anything there. So that's one thing. Now, I'm very quickly going to show you one other thing. If I go back to home, explore libraries, this is where you're going to pick math first, and then the grade. You're going to see a lot of things here. What I want to focus on for today is this part called collections. Now, these are all vetted as long as I'm in the SeeSaw library part of it. These are vetted and created by SeeSaw exemplar teachers or SeeSaw. So these are vetted activities. If I get in here, I see a bunch of things that are related to math. So I have fluency. Today, we're going to focus on math assessments. This is a very quick way that you could see all the math assessments that SeeSaw has to offer. When I click on something like this, it's going to give me the same options that we just looked at. You could either present a class or you could assign it. Also, if I go, let's go back one more. There's also an area that is called Formative Assessment Inspiration. This is a really cool part because, again, very interactive, but this is going to be a lot of those areas that kids need reteaching in. So you could change a specific aspect of it. All of these are editable too. And you could use the same activity more than once. So I could go in on my teacher side and I could change what these shapes look like. These are all, it looks like 3 and 4 sided shapes. Maybe we get to the point where I'm looking at different ones. I can adjust this activity. And it will ask you the correct answers. And as long as you put that in, it will still assess that for you and pull that data. All right. That was just 2 areas. So when we're looking to pull data, both formal and informal, you can do the standards view, or you can do the collections view. So I'm actually going to stop sharing and get back into this, and I'm going to turn off the recording.